Are UAE and Turkey competing or cooperating in the Horn? In the bustling corridors of Somaliland's port terminals and the ceremonial halls of Mogadishu, Presidential Palace, two Gulf powers, once united by shared faith and commerce, are now vying for influence across the Horn of Africa. Behind the scenes of infrastructure deals and defense pacts, a subtle struggle for power regional sway is unfolding, with far-reaching implications for East Africa's security, trade, and politics. Hello, I'm Sarun Zamanil, and this is Analytica Today. As Turkey cements its presence through military bases, reconstruction contracts, and cultural outreach, the United Arab Emirates counters with port concessions, private security firms, and discreet diplomacy. Though neither side brandishes weapons in public, their tactics, infrastructure financing, naval cooperation, and soft power initiatives reveal a calculated contest for the Horn's future. Today, we unpack the silent realignment, mapping the lines of cooperation, the arenas of contest, and the stakes that will define East Africa's next chapter. On paper, both Ankara and Abu Dhabi champion prosperity through connectivity. Turkey's Turkish Cooperation and Coordination Agency bankrolls schools and hospitals in Somalia, signaling a commitment to reconstruction. Simultaneously, UAE's sovereign wealth funds have poured hundreds of millions into Somaliland's Berbera port and Ethiopia's infrastructure, betting that control of logistics lanes will translate into lasting leverage. Yet these investments carry strategic subtext. Turkish-built Mogadishu port renovations and the forthcoming air corridor from Istanbul to Addis Ababa rival the UAE's historic ties to its long-term lease of Berbera port. As both capitals court Horn governments with credit lines and commercial partnerships, each loan and joint venture weaves a web of economic dependency and influence. Where Turkey plants its flag, it often brings soldiers. The Turkish base in Mogadishu, housing over 1,000 troops, underpins joint anti-militancy operations against al-Shabaab and cements bilateral defense ties. Despite occasional joint exercises, ostensibly to bolster regional maritime security, the two partners seldom synchronize. Ankara's emphasis on supporting federal structure in Somalia clashes with Abu Dhabi's readiness to engage breakaway, as seen in its deepening rapport with Somaliland authorities. The result is a patchwork of security arrangements, each reflecting the sponsor's strategic priorities rather than a shared Horn agenda. In multilateral forums like IGAD and the African Union, both Turkey and the UAE seek recognition as indispensable partners. Ankara touts its role mediating between Somalia and Ethiopia, invoking historical ties and positioning itself as a Pan-African stakeholder. The UAE counters by championing infrastructure summits and funding peacebuilding conferences in Addis Ababa, positioning its development finance as the key to Horn stability. This parallel diplomatic tracks sometimes coverage, such as joint sponsorships of counterterrorism workshops, but more often, they underscore divergent worldviews. Turkey promotes a model of ideological solidarity and state-led reconstruction, while the UAE advances a technocratic, private sector-driven approach. As regional capitals navigate these options, they must balance the allure of Gulf capital against the risk of becoming proxies in a broader geopolitical contest. Despite the undercurrent of rivalry, the Horn's needs can bridge Gulf divides. Turkey's industrial outreach, textiles in Somalia, beverage plants in Somaliland, could dovetail with the UAE's logistics and financing to create seamless value chains from factory to port. Likewise, joint Gulf investment in renewable energy projects across the Horn might mitigate the region's chronic power shortages. Yet, such synergy demands coordination, which remains elusive. Turkey's insistence on state-to-state partnerships contrasts with the UAE's willingness to engage subnational authorities. Their differing approaches to governance and conditionality mean that complementaries often remain potential rather than realized. As 2025 unfolds, the Horn's geopolitical landscape will be shaped by how these Gulf players adapt to local dynamics. Turkey's economic stimulus, anchored in its post-pandemic reconstruction drive, must contend with budgetary pressures at home, while the UAE's diversification strategy hinges on global oil prices and its ability to project influence without overextending. For the Horn capitals, the imperative is clearer. Leverage Gulf resources to address security vacuums, infrastructure deficits, and social needs without entangling in national interests and an external rivalry. Success will require diplomatic dexterity, transparent governance, and strategic foresight to ensure that competition yields tangible benefits rather than fracturing regional cohesion. So, is the UAE-Turkey engagement in the Horn cooperation or competition? The answer is both. Beneath partnerships in ports and peace-building lie contests for influence in the Horn's strategic corridors. Allies today may become rivals tomorrow, but in the meantime, Horn of Africa must navigate this quiet power duel with its own interests at heart. I'm Saron and this is Analytica Today. If this analysis resonated with you, share your insights below and stay tuned as we track every move in this Gulf Horn chess game.